What's up, everybody? Joseph Bonanno here, Jack Foster, WUTK Rock Solid Sports. We are currently sitting at the top of Gainbridge Fieldhouse right now, overlooking an empty court, waiting for Tennessee, Michigan to start. It's pretty exciting. It's been a good week so far up here in Indy. A little rainy, a little cold, a couple weird.
Today, especially.
Yeah. A couple weird things have happened.
Let's just say Indianapolis is an interesting city, and we've gotten interesting memories the last 4 days, but it's all part of the fun. We've got an hour and 45 minutes till Wolverines and Vols look for a berth in the Sweet 16, so couldn't be more excited to cover this one.
Absolutely. And, there's just something in the air right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if
it's March.
It is March. We just got done watching Baylor UNC, which is probably one of the wildest games I've watched in a March Madness. 25-point lead deficit, fouls being called everywhere.
The ejection changed everything.
The ejection of Brady Manick. I mean, it was wild. We had like 15 media members down in the media workroom, just all gathered around a single TV watching this game.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a number one seed go down like that, especially in the round of 32, it's what March Madness is all about. I actually thought Baylor would be the first one seed to go down. I thought it happened in the Sweet 16. But, it happened in the round of 32 to a hungry North Carolina team, looking to surprise some people coming as an 8 seed, obviously a great basketball program. And, I mean, Purdue's, to me, the only team that really stands in their way for NC to reach the Final Four out of that region, So it's going to be fun to see how that region plays out. It's definitely the most interesting region we got in the bracket so far. Murray State, obviously that's the one Kentucky went down in, and now the 1 seed as well. So speaking of Kentucky, St. Peter's is going to play later tonight against Murray State.
Absolutely,
definitely rooting for the Racers. Little hometown favorite there, but it's going to be a great one late night in Gainbridge as well.
Yeah, and Jack, I gotta ask, what are you expecting from tonight? Is there anything in particular that you think Tennessee's going to try to do? Anything particular you think Michigan's going to try to do? Just what are your initial thoughts on this game?
Well, Michigan is going to try to expose UT in the paint. Michigan has incredible bigs, notably Hunter Dickinson. He's 7'1", so they're going to use that to their advantage. They definitely have the size advantage over Tennessee. Obviously, Uroš Plavšić is tall, but we know he might not be the great defender, and it's going to be important for Uroš to size up with Hunter tonight because I don't know if John Fulkerson can do it. Obviously, we know Fulkerson is better offensively than Uroš is, but I feel like Dickinson will expose Fulkerson in the end. And then Jonas and Brandon, just being so young in this type of stage, it'll be a tall task no pun intended, but it'll be a big task for them to handle Dickinson down low.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jonas Adu and Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, and in my opinion, those are the two guys that are really going to need to step up, especially with Hunter Dickinson, like you mentioned. I also think we're going to have to see some big minutes from John Fulkerson because I don't think the freshmen are going to be able to handle it the entire game by themselves. So I think you got to see Uroš come in and John Fulkerson come in and try to help out the young guys because Michigan is going to score points in the paint. I think that's kind of where Michigan is as a team. They're a 2-point team. They're one of the best 2-point teams in the nation. Tennessee's one of the best 3-point teams in the nation. It's the classic 2-point versus 3-point game right here. And if Tennessee, in my opinion, can take away the 3-point shot at all from Michigan, they don't shoot a lot, but they do shoot it somewhat efficiently. If they can take it away completely, I think this is the Vols game. This is the Vols game to lose.
Yeah, and, I don't want to say that we haven't seen Tennessee do well against bigs. We've seen it out of Jonas Adu against Oscar Tshiebwe, and, Walker Kessler struggled in Thompson-Bowling Arena. Granted, this isn't in Thompson-Bowling Arena where the Vols are elite, but the Vols can handle bigs. They've done it before. I think Hunter Dickinson might be a little more, he's taller than those other guys, so he might be a little more imposing in the paint. But the Vols can do it. There's no doubt about it, and I think Jonas would be the freshman to step up if the Vols can handle Dickinson, him and Uroš as well. But, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see that matchup. To me, Joseph, if the Vols keep shooting like they do, I don't really think it's going to matter. Michigan's defense, their perimeter defense isn't really good. They're 78th in the nation defensively, according to KenPom. And, I mean, with the way Tennessee was shooting against Longwood, I know it's a Longwood, but like I said, Michigan's not a great defensive team either. I don't see why Tennessee would slow down, and you can't really compete with that fire from beyond the arc they have.
And, Tennessee's on a roll right now. I think they've won 8 in a row, going for their 9th win today. Their last loss coming to Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena. And I wrote a piece earlier today talking about what happened in Indianapolis actually 8 years ago. Tennessee Michigan Sweet 16. It was a charge call that was controversial on Tennessee. It ended their run that they looked pretty good in. I mean, they battled back in that game. So a lot of emotions in this game. I know a lot of Vol fans have that on in the back of their mind. I don't think this team does as well. I think they're here and they're ready to win. So
Could that have been a Lucas Oil curse though? We're in a different arena today.
we are in a different arena. It might have been Lucas Oil Stadium. A lot of bad things happened there. So you know, you never know. So saw some videos from outside the arena. Looks like Tennessee fans are coming in waves right now. Haven't really seen many Michigan fans, but also I don't really follow a lot of Michigan media, so I haven't really seen that side
it's
of it.
understandable. I will say when I come in Thursday, I was pretty surprised by how much yellow was in the crowd and how little orange was in the crowd. There were their fair share of Tennessee fans, but I kind of expected more. But, you got to take it. It was Longwood. Tennessee was expected to dummy Longwood like they did. And now this is a much bigger game. It's a weekend. It's Saturday. Tennessee fans are going to come out, and that's what you're alluding to there on social media.
Yeah, and we are joined by Jason Wyrick of Rock Solid Sports. Jason, we're in your hometown right now. What do you think Tennessee needs to do in today's game? I mean, we already talked about kind of stopping the bigs, working in the paint, and maybe taking away the three balls. Is there anything specific that you think Tennessee needs to do?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it comes down to taking care of the basketball. As long as the Vols take care of the basketball, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to score in transition, to score in half-court sets. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to score, but you can't squander those. And as long as you take advantage of the opportunities that you are given, both playing good defense, which, is what the Vols have been doing for the last, several games now, and as long as you take care of the basketball and don't give away your opportunities, I think that's the key to winning in March to begin with, but especially against a team that is coached to a degree that some people think may not be the best. I don't want to say Juwan Howard is not a good coach because I think he is a tremendous basketball mind, but I think that Michigan plays more sloppily than a lot of teams, and I think that's something that just comes with the territory of having a coach that is relatively new to the college game. And I think the Vols have to take advantage of that. They will probably, being Michigan, will probably give the ball away. But if you, as Tennessee, start giving the ball away as well, that negates that advantage when you could be using that advantage to get a big lead and then keep pressing the gas and put it out of reach for a team that, as you saw on Thursday, this team can come back against good teams like they did against Colorado State. And you have to take advantage of the opportunities. But if you start giving chances away, you are going to let Michigan hang around. And that's not something you want to do against a high-powered, a high-potential team.
And as we saw earlier today in UNC Baylor, no lead is safe in March. 25 points coming into the second half, and they took it all the way down to the end of overtime before that game was finally settled. So I agree. The Vols really need to just play clean. I know we talked when we talked to Michigan and Juwan Howard and their players yesterday. I know one thing that they really harped on was not turning the ball over. They knew that turnovers were going to happen, but not to give those extra possessions that are not out of your control.
Yeah, because there's a team that'll burn you. It's Tennessee with how fast they play and how well they've been shooting recently with Triple J, Santi, you name it. And obviously Michigan has a ton of respect for Vescovi. They, comparing him to Ray Allen and Klay Thompson, even the player made a slight comparison to Steph Curry. So they're going to pay attention to Santi. I expect him for Michigan to really try to clamp him. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to see.
All right, and I just got a message. I'm not sure if it's true. Start time pushed back from 5:15 to 5:50. We will verify that here in a minute. But I'm going to kick it over to Jason real quick. Jason, just kind of what do you think if Tennessee were to advance in this game? They're going to the Sweet 16. They're going to San Antonio next week if they win against Michigan. Where do you think they stand from here on out?
I think the Vols have been playing the best basketball just about out of anybody in the country in the last month and a half. And so I don't think that can be understated because hot teams stay hot in March. And that is a lot of the time how you make deep runs in this tournament. is you get hot at the right time and you find your stride at the right time. Obviously, last year, the Vols peaked a little bit too early, and then the issues that we had seen all year became exacerbated by teams that had seen that on film. Whereas I think this team has managed to overcome its biggest concerns in the last, 6-7 weeks. After that Kentucky loss at Rupp Arena, this team has been a completely different animal. And I think this team has all the potential in the world to go and make a really deep run, potentially going to the third weekend. And I don't think that that's that far-fetched. With that being said, the issues that have plagued Tennessee still exist. You still have to find a guy that can manufacture a bucket when times get tough and when the team goes cold. I'm still not sure who that is. Santi can spot up threes, but if he is taken out of the game and you just have to manufacture points, where is that going to come from? You've seen Zakai Ziegler do it. You've seen Kennedy Chandler do it. But who can do it against an elite team, which is what you're starting to get into now that you've played one game and you'll be playing, potentially in the Sweet 16. You have 16 of the best teams in the country. You're not going to be able to just manufacture a bucket easily against those other 15 teams. And so my concern is who is going to step up and be able to do that and score those points when the going gets tough. We haven't really seen somebody do it consistently yet, but I think there are a couple of guys that can. And if one of them does, I think this team has all the potential in the world to go pretty far. But that's a concern worth noting going into the second weekend should the Vols make it.
Yeah, I like your point there, Jason. And I think it's Josiah. I think he's hungry. I mean, he's led this team to this point. He's been an elite defender, and now all of his shots are starting to fall. I mean, we saw he made 3 threes
from the corner,
yeah,
including the buzzer beater
down there at the end of the first half. So he manufactured those buckets to get, as you're saying, manufacturing buckets. He manufactured those to get Tennessee a really comfortable lead heading into the break, which was really great for them in the second half to, pad the lead, obviously, against Longwood.
That's not the only thing he does. Like you said, he is a leader, and Rick Barnes trusts him. During Thursday's game against Longwood, Rick Barnes wasn't really planning on putting Victor Bailey Jr. in until Josiah came off the bench and said, "Go ahead and put VJ in.
Yeah.
He needs in this game." So,
Barnes really trusts Josiah. I mean, and how can you not?
And if Barnes trusts Josiah, I just know every single player on that floor wearing orange is going to trust him as well.
It just seems like he was the one most affected by the Oregon State loss last year.
Yeah,
and he's just on this vendetta, man. And he's
playing like it affected him.
Yeah.
Yes. And, he mentioned yesterday in the media availability that Texas game was really the turning point for this team. And once they came back in that comeback there in the second half, down 16 in that 8-9 minute stretch, it sparked something. And since then, they've only lost one game, and that was to Arkansas and Bud Walton.
Yeah, and everyone knows that's a tough place to play. I mean, Auburn and Kentucky lost there too.
Yeah. So, but by the way, the news about the Tennessee game being pushed back to 5:50 p.m. is true. It'll be delayed 35 minutes. Not sure why as of yet. I'm sure that'll come out shortly, but right now, 35-minute delay. So we're going to be here either way.
Yeah. We got a hotel tonight, so let's go.
Yeah, we won't have to be driving back at 2 o'clock in the morning like we were planning on doing.
Yeah, that was going to be rough.
Yeah.
Especially driving through those cornfields, right, Jason?
Man, y'all are going the wrong way. You guys, I assume you went through Louisville, up on 65 North, and that's a route I'm very familiar with as an alumni of the University of Louisville. But the more scenic of the drives is taking I-74 through Cincinnati and down. And I recommend that if you're going back to East Tennessee. I know, Joseph, I think you came from Nashville, right? So you just came straight north. But the more scenic of the drives is from 74 to 75 at Cincinnati, and I highly recommend that one. It's Southern Indiana has a little bit more to offer than just cornfields. But as you guys have noticed, Indianapolis is a world-class city, and it's the best city in the world, in my opinion.
Okay. I got to admit, the inside of the stadium's pretty cool. Sound travels very well in here. I love the Jumbotron. Jumbotron is a huge plus in here. So
too bad they got a cap rule.
Yeah. So, Jason, can you help us out with this? Because yesterday we went to the concession stand to put in our vouchers, and all of a sudden, the dude at the concession stand took Jack's water bottle cap and said that it was state law that he could not give Jack the water bottle cap. Is that a thing?
Yeah, is that true?
That is a thing, and it has been that way for as long as I can remember. It has been that way since, like I said, as far as I can remember. But the reason being is any sporting event, they're required to do that. Any major sporting event at least is required to do that because they don't want you throwing crap on the court. So as we have seen, that is something that can happen. So
they probably made sure to enforce that rule this weekend with Tennessee fans coming to town.
Yeah, that's probably something in the back of their minds. But just a reminder, anyone who's viewing can comment a question, and we can talk about it. We'll post it up here. So any viewers, the 3 that I see right now, you guys can ask any questions. We'll try to answer them best while we're waiting. I mean, we got an extra 35 minutes now, so 2 hours before tip off. 2 hours 10 minutes before tip off, so we've got a little bit of time.
And it's been such a fun season. I like reflecting. Now that we're at the end, it's bittersweet. But obviously, Tennessee has the chances to go far in this tournament. But I want to ask you guys, with all that's happened this season, who do you guys think has been the most valuable player for the Vols?
I don't think you can give it to one person. Maybe production on the court. I would say Vescovy or Kenny Chandler. If you want to talk about heart and energizing this team, just add George James and Zakai Ziegler. I mean, it's just, if you want to talk about bringing a group together, Rick Barnes. It's just, there's not a single person that made this season what it is. It was the entire University of Tennessee basketball program that did this. Whether it was just the players, the coaching staff, the basketball managers, the fans, the school, just all of it came together, and it's been one heck of a season. Vols are already they're top 5 heading into the bracket or into March, and they got a 3 seed. We saw that maybe they got screwed from that. But I think it works out.
Kentucky was frauds, is what he's saying.
Kentucky
once again is a Potemkin village, but I will leave it at that.
Kentucky were frauds. We were here for that game, and watching it was wild. I can't tell you, I haven't heard this arena so silent all weekend.
Yeah, there's one tiny pocket down there, back left, of St. Peter's fans, just going crazy. But everybody else in blue was pretty silent.
Yeah. To answer your question, though, Jack, I want to agree with what Joseph said. I think that it really has been a tremendous team effort. But if I'm singling out one player, I'm saying it's Kennedy Chandler, because not only has his production been extraordinary, especially from the point guard position, the fact that he has taken the role of primary ball handler out of Santi's hands and freed up Santi to do what he does best, which is play 3 and D type of basketball and spot up from 3. That has opened up the offense to a whole different degree that we did not see at all last year, because Santi was, tasked with being, the primary ball handler for a lot of the time. And now that we have that 3-point threat, that opens up a whole lot of space. And then Kennedy Chandler obviously has elite speed that can exploit any room that you give him. You give him an inch, he'll take 10 feet. And so with that being said, I think it's got to be Kennedy Chandler for that reason. But again, I want to agree with what Joseph said. I think it's been a tremendous team effort all around. And, just picking Kennedy Chandler seems unfair. But if I'm going to pick one, that would be who I would pick.
Yeah, that's a really great point to make about Santi being able to shoot those threes. And we definitely saw it against Longwood as he drained 6 threes, tying Chris Lofton as the most threes made by a volunteer in an NCAA tournament game. That was really impressive stuff.
And he hit his 103 of the season. Actually, he's 100 and 101.
Right.
Is what he got to. So that was a pretty impressive performance.
Yeah, and he joins Chris Lofton as the only other volunteer to do that too.
In a single season, yeah.
Vescovy going down in the record books. You love to see it.
I mean, there were a lot of records broken on Thursday for the Vols. I know it was the most assists at 29 in an NCAA tournament game. It was the most steals at 13 in an NCAA
for the Vols.
For the Vols, yes. And so it was a really good way to start out the tournament. I know a lot of Tennessee fans were coming in maybe nervous because of Rick Barnes' history.
Yeah.
And Longwood, they
just weren't complete. They could. Folky exposed them down low to start, and then they adjusted and they lit them up from beyond the arc after.
Let's take a moment, though, because there are a lot of teams in this tournament that are not complete that have put up a tremendous fight against good teams. Look at St. Peter's, for example. The fact that this Tennessee Vols team came in and took care of business in emphatic fashion. This team could have won by 50 had they not taken their foot off the gas. That cannot be understated. You're going to get everybody's best shot in March. And some of these teams come out and they get these opponents that are vastly inferior, such as St. Peter's versus Kentucky, and they still end up losing. And I think that's a tremendous testament to this Tennessee Vols team and how complete they have looked in the last 6 or 7 weeks, because that easily could have been a much closer game, but they came out, took care of business, and very easily could have won by 50.
Yeah, there was one thing I noticed big in that Longwood game is that Tennessee didn't have one of those 4 or 5 minute scoring droughts that you've seen so many times to kill so many leads throughout the season. I mean, it happened at Auburn. It happened at Kentucky.
It almost happened
Welcome
against
to
Texas
Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Yeah, and
the
so
doors are now open.
fans are about to be
The doors
let
are
in.
now open.
I think you can hear that now. Tennessee fans are probably going to be flooding this place. We'll get some pictures and post them when we see the sea of orange that's yet to come here in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So anything else?
Oh, we need to get score predictions.
Score predictions. I like that.
Let's go Jason first.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Give me the Vols 65-58. I think it'll be a little bit closer than a lot of Vols fans would like, but I think it'll be a relatively comfortable victory.
You think Hunter Dickinson has some success, or you think the Vols are able to handle it?
I mean, it's March. You can't count anybody out.
I'm going to go in my prediction I wrote yesterday, I'm going to stick with it 79-68. I think it's going to be a little more high scoring because I'm pretty sure that Michigan is going to get Devontae Jones back. I know that they were kind of iffy about it yesterday, but I think that was just kind of to try to conceal things from Tennessee. And Tennessee seemed like they were ready for him to come play. So I think he's going to open things up for Michigan, and especially Hunter Dickinson down low. So I'm going to go 79-68. Tennessee pulls it out and advances to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go a little lower scoring, probably a healthy middle between you two guys. We go Tennessee 72, Michigan 65. Like a 7-point win for Tennessee's 7th win in March. And it's going to tie a school record for most wins in March for Tennessee. 2 seasons will join it if they get the dub today. But it's going to be tough. Definitely going to be tough, much tougher than Longwood. But, I think I got Tennessee moving to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Michigan just, in my opinion, they bigger, more athletic, more physical than Longwood. Tennessee's really going to have to focus and get that game plan in because if they're playing like they were playing for Longwood on Thursday, they're not winning this game. So.
Hey guys, we need to do one more score prediction. I got my mom here with me.
All right.
We got my mom here. We need to get a score prediction from Mama Wyrick. What you got, Mom? Come here and get on the camera.
I don't want to get on a camera.
What you got, Mom?
I don't know. 72 to I don't know.
72 to
How about 66? I don't know.
Who do you have winning?
Well, the Vols, of course.
72-66 is Mama Wyrick's prediction for this game with the Vols winning.
There it is. So
I'm closest to Mama Wyrick, so that means I'm going to be correct, right?
Yep, that's
because
what
Mama
it means.
Wyrick doesn't lie.
That's what it means. So, guys, follow both me and Jack on Twitter at JMBonanno13 at Jack Foster TV. We'll be providing live updates here from Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tennessee, Michigan coming up 2 hours.
Let's roll.